So momentum is something I've been talking about for years. I often say the biggest thing people are missing is just momentum. When I'm helping entrepreneurs and I'm looking at people, a great idea, a huge heart, a desire to serve, like a passion to do good, not just make money, but to actually try to create something meaningful. It's like, but why haven't you started? It's like, the biggest thing you're missing is just momentum, is what I would always say as a catchphrase, I guess. Like, let's go. Just stop being afraid and just go and create. And so I actually wasn't planning on writing another book. My last book was Built to Serve. And if you had asked me at the beginning of last year, what's your book? It's Built to Serve. When's the next book? It's not. Like, it's Built to Serve. That's it. And then I did an Instagram Live with Kira, who became a friend, who then became a business partner with her in her publishing house.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need them. Because I don't always wake up and feel motivated to go take on the day. And the thing that saves me, that helps me every day, is being around people who are thinking bigger, who are changing the world, and it gives me a little more inspiration to go after my mission. And so I hope this video helps you go after yours today too. So today let's learn from me and my team's take on my top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
She said she was a book medium when I met her at Genius Network. And I said, well, what's a book medium? It's like, well, I help people channel their books. It's like, okay, I liked her vibe and her energy. I had no intention of writing the book, but I said, hey, why don't we do it as an Instagram Live? Like, what do you mean? Come on my Instagram and you can channel my next book with me. Do your thing with me, right? And she's like, oh, no, it's usually private. I don't do this as a public thing. Okay, but just come on, we'll do it together. It'll be fun. So she was nervous, but she said yes. And we channeled my book. And out of that came the idea of momentum. And then she said, okay, well, when are you going to write the book? Well, it's called Momentum. So it's kind of hard to delay that, right? It's kind of hard to say, well, and next year I'll start, right? It's like, so I guess I'm starting today. And they ended up writing the book. So it's like not a giant book, but it's not a little book either, in 5 days. So I wrote the whole thing in 5 days. Wow. We then got it, cover, printed, all of the stuff that has to go into publishing a book inside of 8 weeks. It started with her challenging me to write the book in 8 weeks. And in context, my first book with Penguin Random House took me a year to write. So even the idea of writing the book in 8 weeks was already massive time crunch, because I didn't have 8 magical weeks just open in my calendar. Like, I've got my software company running, I've got my YouTube team running, we've got 50 people on the team, like there's a lot of work that has to get done. Now magically I have to write a book as well. And I just started writing, it was flowing out, and I actually got it done in 5 days and said, why don't we just get it published in 8 weeks instead of me having it written in 8 weeks? And so there it is, momentum.
Rule number 2 is focus on your mission.
How do you get to that level? Because there's so much noise, isn't there? There's so many people competing, and people this is a bit of a long-winded question, but people get very disheartened because they don't get immediate results. So they say, oh, it doesn't work. So what would you say to those people?
Well, I don't know if you've seen my journey. I post it on my website. So if anybody wants to see how slowly I took at the beginning to get going, people use it as inspiration. I post every year. So I started in 2009, and every May I post where I'm at in terms of my subscriber growth. And in the first year was 25 subscribers. And the second year is like 100 subscribers, something. In my 5th year, I still had 700 subscribers or something like that. And that's like, people will say, how did you not quit? Like, how do you keep going? You're in year 5 and you only have 700 something subscribers. Like, you might want to go find something else. It's like, it's not working. Go do something else. So I love doing it. And I think that's why you have to love the process of the thing that you're doing. And if anybody, I challenge people to do this because it's a fun thing, but a lot of times people will take that graphic of how I'm doing year by year, and then they put it into an Instagram post or video or tweet or something to say that they're beating Evan Carmichael, because most people are beating me. Most people by year 5, already have more than 700 something subscribers. So you can say that you're ahead of me. Yeah. The only difference is I kept going. I just kept going. I kept making it. I kept creating content. I kept sharing. And when people ask, well, how did you keep going? Like, how did you not quit? What gave you the inspiration and reason to keep going? I always focus on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't.
Okay.
And that made a huge shift for me, because most of us are in the who I'm not serving game, right? Even now, I've got 3 whatever million subscribers. Why is it not 4? Why is it not 5? Why is it not 10? You know, what the who I'm not game is never ending.
Yeah.
But who you are serving right now can make all the difference in the world. So that those 25 people in my first year, it's like, those are 25 people who subscribe to my channel. You know, like, that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. If you go and you speak at a library or a YMCA, or my first speaking gig was at a YMCA, and 25 people show up, that's pretty cool. Now, I would think that's pretty cool. My first speaking, I had 3 people show up. So if 25 people showed up, that'd be pretty cool. And so if you can re-engineer your mind to think about that, hey, if I have 25 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or however big your audience is, it doesn't mean that you stop growing and you get complacent and you just only live in gratitude for what you've got. But if you focus on serving them instead of who you're not serving, it does a couple things. One, it's a lot more fun. You know, to feel like you matter and that the work you're doing is having an impact on people. And that fun, we all want to feel like we're doing something that matters. And so if you can actually connect to the thing that you're doing actually matters to somebody, maybe not the world. You and I want to serve the world. Cool. And if you knew that you did something today that helped at least one person, it's easy to have the motivation to keep going and doing it again the next day, the next day, the next day. And 2, the people who you are serving will take you to the people who you're not serving. You know, like if you keep serving your people well, they'll tell their friends about you. Say, hey, go watch this person's video. And you never know the impact that you're having on people.
Rule number 3 is believe.
What advice would you give to folks who are listening to this, who know that they're destined for more, and what message would you like to leave them with today?
Just to know that it's possible, that whatever that dream in your head is, that it's actually probably even small compared to what you're capable of, and that it's possible, and that people with less intelligence and less resources than you, your heroes, a lot of them started with less than what you have right now. You have Steven to pay attention to. You know, a lot of your heroes didn't have anybody, and they figured it out. And so if they can, you can too. And it requires a different way of thinking. It requires a different way of acting. It requires you maybe saying no to some people and then saying yes to new people and new opportunities in your life. But your dream is possible. And you just have to wake up every day and take one more step towards making momentum happen towards it. Because I think for a lot of people, the biggest thing they're missing is just momentum. Rule number 4 is overcome your fears.
Walk us through an average every day for you as a high performer.
Well, average every day or when I was on tour doing 90 days?
On tour.
Yeah. So part of the reason for doing the tour was I was afraid of speaking. And I'd done a lot of speaking, but it was always just like, you speak and then you're scared, and then I come back home and then I'm fine. And then I wanted to get rid of this fear of speaking. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to go and do 23 cities and every 4 days speak again. Every 3-4 days, like a new city, do it again, get my reps in. And that became the starting point. So every 4th day, basically, I was in a new city speaking. Every 4th day, we also had to travel. We still had to work. And I wanted to spend some time with Nina. It was me, Nina, and my cameraman, Danny, for 90 days together. Hotel hopping, Airbnb hopping. It was a pretty chaotic but fun ride. Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is invest in yourself.
In what way did you get better, and what did you invest in?
So it was mindset and skill set. So in the mindset, I'm introverted, I'm shy. That doesn't come across on like interviews like this, but I don't like the spotlight. I don't like being on stage. It makes me nervous. It's not enjoyable. I just came back from a 3-day event in Vegas where I was speaking with Gary Vee and Patrick Bet-David and other great speakers on stage. And I don't like being on stage. I like the effect it creates in the hallway afterwards to go help people. So I'm the only speaker who sticks around, and then I stay for hours in the hallway talking to people because they'll come up to me and ask me questions based off of my talk, where normally I wouldn't go up to anybody and talk to them, not because I'm too good for them, but because I'm afraid. I'm introverted and shy. But we still want to serve. And so that was a huge breakthrough for me when I realized, even though I'm introverted and shy, I still want to serve. I still want to help. And all my models at the time, if you look at who's on TV, you just see the people who are big mouth and extroverted and the life of the party. And like, that wasn't me. So I thought, like to do that, I'm at the same agency as Mel Robbins and Grant Cardone, and both of them very outwards focused and like the life of the party and extrovert and love talking to people. And just, that wasn't me. So it took a while for me. Once I tied it to service, then it was an unlock. It's like, this is not about me. It's about the people you can help. And then that became like, oh, okay. But how does an introvert make a lot of YouTube videos and win? I don't know, but let's figure it out. Like let's try. Let's see what happens. And then the second part of that was getting help in communication and once I decided to take it more seriously, that I realized, I should be doing more than just getting coaching, getting help, and watch my videos back and becoming a better speaker. So people can get there a lot faster. It's not like, once you have 1,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers or whatever it is, then instantly everything gets better. It's much more about, are you good enough? Or do you have the skill set and the talent and the mindset to actually make great content? And obviously the more repetition you put in, the better, but getting coaching and getting help and getting people to give you guidance really helped me too.
Rule number 6 is model success.
On your mission that you're on, what challenges with that format that you've built have you faced for what's next? And what's been the advantage of that format for what you've been able to build and the impact that you're making in the world?
My biggest limitation is still lack of belief. So people say, well, you're the believe guy. It's like, yeah, but I believe in myself to do the things that I've done now, but to do the next big thing, I don't believe myself to do the next big. So I still need the channel for myself, because I want to wake up and have Oprah Winfrey or Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or whoever it is whispering messages in my ear to get me going to do the next thing. One of my you talk about the format of giving tribute to other people. At the beginning, it was just, hey, I've learned this from these people, and I think you might be able to learn too. I was just hoping to shortcut the path, because my worst day in my first business was when I said I quit on my business partner. And I woke up the next day and said, I can't quit yet because I'm going to regret this if I don't figure this out. At least if it doesn't work out, fine, but at least know that I gave it everything, because I don't want to look back and say, I wish I just tried a little bit harder. But I couldn't keep going the way that I was going. So I had to find another path. And the thing that came to me was, I can't be the first person to try to solve this problem. Like, somebody's figured this out. Why don't I just model success? Like, model success wasn't words that I would use. It was probably a lot more clumsy, but I can't be the first person to figure this out. Somebody's done it. And that's where I studied Bill Gates. It's like, Bill Gates had who's got a software company? I had a software company. So who's got a successful software company? Bill Gates came to mind. This was not very advanced planning. It's just top of dome. So, okay, how did Microsoft get started? And how did he build? Not so much how does Bill Gates make an extra $1 million now? Who cares? But 0 to 1, how do you do that? And it was through partnerships. And learning how he applied that in Microsoft, I brought that to my business, and quickly after had my first check for $13,500. And that may not seem like a lot, but when you're making $300 a month, $13,500, it's like, holy cow, this is a grand slam here. And more importantly, I could do that again. That was just one deal. I could close more deals. So the strategy there was model success. Find people who have done this and put that to use in your business or your life. And so I then went on this mission to continue learning how I can model other people's success. And then that eventually became a YouTube channel where I shared a lot of messages. A surprising benefit of that has been I've gotten to meet some of these people. I was just profiling some of them. And then now I get to do interviews with them or go hang out with them or go to their houses. And some of them have become friends, which was never part of the idea of what I could do. It's just, hey, I love your message. I'm trying to get it out to the world because if I learn from it, maybe other people like me can learn from it. And it's been amazing to be able to foster all those connections too. Rule number 7 is eliminate, automate, and delegate. I encourage entrepreneurs to go through a 3-step process, which is eliminate, automate, delegate.
Okay.
So you look at the work that you're doing and maybe you shouldn't be doing it at all. Like before you give it to somebody else, maybe it just shouldn't get done. And there's often things that we're doing that we think are really high value that then turn out to not matter. And we may not even notice it, right? I mean, before Movement Makers, I had a mastermind that I ran in Toronto for entrepreneurs. And when people joined, we took minutes, like notes of what was happening. Like I took minutes. This is before AI could do it for you and transcripts. Like I wrote down minutes for what everybody said and homework and assignments and everything. And there was 1 month where I forget what happened. Like I was going away the next day or something, and I didn't get the notes out to people after the meeting. Nobody cared. Like no response, no message, no like, hey, where's the minutes? Where's the notes? And so I didn't do it again next month. Nobody cared. It's like, wow, I've been spending all this time on something that like nobody cared about, that I thought was high value, but was actually zero value for people. Maybe it was even negative value. Maybe I was annoying them with it. I don't know. And so eliminate first, so, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs might be frustrated with their accounting and bookkeeping. You cannot eliminate that, right? Like that has to get done.
Yeah.
You will run into problems if you try to eliminate that from your business, right?
And I was going to go into that for you, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, the government will come for you. That is a big problem. Unless you live in some country that doesn't move to the moon or something. But that's a problem. So you can't eliminate that. But there's a lot of things that we're doing that just should not be done. They just be completely eliminated. The next is automate. So before giving it to a human, give it to technology. So use software, use tools, use AI, use QuickBooks, there's a lot of things. There's software and tools for a lot of things that you should start applying into your business that can save a lot of man hours. And then you get to delegate. So eliminate, automate, and then delegate. And so these are the things that still have to get done, but should not be done by you. So in eliminate, they shouldn't be done at all. In automate, they need to be done, but should be done by a human. And then in delegate, it should be done, but shouldn't be done by you. It has to be done by another human. And that's where you start to scale and build and create. Rule number 8 is do what makes you happy.
If you're trying to get your journey going on YouTube, cool, take a bite and see. Try making videos, try doing vlogs, try doing interviews, try doing direct to camera, try doing speeches, try the things that you see. And expect to suck at all of them at the beginning. You're not going to be good because you don't have the skill set yet. Doesn't mean you suck as a human. You don't have the skill set yet. But the thing to pay attention to is, did you enjoy it? How did you feel after doing it? You had that interview, and it's easy to go back. If you go back and watch your first interview, it's a train wreck. I mean, you're awkward and nervous and ask the wrong questions, and you can look back on it and say, oh my gosh, I should have done that. And you can go over it in your head a million times, but did you like it? Was it fun to do? Do you want to go back and do it again? Did it give you more energy than it took? And if it's a yes, then that's a great sign to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people stop on YouTube because they don't get immediate results, because they're not doing something that they feel is authentic to them. And they're focused on who they're not serving instead of who they are serving. And they just judge themselves too harshly for not having a skill set yet. Like you don't just get on a snowboard and go down the hill. You fall 80 times on your first run, and then you fall 50 times on your second run, right? And you get better as you go.
Rule number 9 is make a difference.
You think that for people who are looking at making impact, whether that be online or through content or speaking or any of those different avenues, where do you see that kind of the next horizon, kind of like you entered YouTube very early on? What do you think's next?
So I think it depends on what your mission is, right? So for me, I've got a giant mission, right? I want to impact the whole world. And so how do you do that? Well, my hypothesis is that it's content at scale. And if you're going to do content at scale, you've got two options, long form or short form. Like the platforms are basically divided. TikTok and Snap and Facebook and Instagram are all short form content. And then YouTube is long form, and YouTube has shorts, I guess, as a combination. But there's YouTube on one side with the long form and all the other content, which is short form. And if you want to have an impact and really want to make a difference, I think it's hard to do it in 30-second little clips. So that's a lot more inspiring, but it's not really making a huge impact. If you're trying to explain multifamily investing in a 42-second video, like, good luck, right? So, but it's fine. Like, the shorts have their own path. It's to inspire, but it's not really to do deep education. And you're not really doing any of the deep work just from the clip. So hopefully the clips inspire somebody to start down the path to learn more about this thing.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is be in service to others.
Talk to me a little bit about the service mentality and that service above self mentality that I mentioned, because I feel like it's really a part of your core. It's something that you really, really authenticate.
So I haven't heard of service above self before, but I'm also not part of Rotary. And I think ultimately service is the path to self. I think humans are built to serve. I think if you're not happy, it's because you're not serving. Every day, we all want to wake up and feel like what we do matters to somebody else. We want to feel like the job we're going to, or the business we're creating, or whatever we're going to do today is going to have an impact on somebody else. And some people, you and I, and probably most of your listeners, we want to change the world. We want to have a big impact. We want to go and, have our message reach wide and far, but not because of us, but because of the impact that we want to create. And other people, like my wife, Nina, she doesn't want to have a big mission, but she serves the 25 closest people to us. She's the glue for our family. Remember everybody's birthdays and what they're doing and what they need and what they're going through and all of the stuff that I forget and probably I should get better at. But everybody wants to serve. Serving others is hardwired into our brain. They did functional MRIs on people's brains and found that serving other people hits the same part of your brain as having food and having sex. So it's like literally hardwired into your brain that you need this to be a functioning, happy member of society. I think some people have experienced things like act of kindness. You know how nice it is to buy the coffee with the person behind you in line or hold the door or those kinds of things. And those moments are great and keep doing them. But I think everybody also has a much deeper level of service where I believe that your purpose comes from your pain, that whatever you struggled the most with as a human is what you want to help other people through. And so when you can see somebody who is going through the thing that you went through and feels hopeless and lost and is struggling and doesn't see a way out, and then they spend 8 minutes with you, and you say, hey, you know what? It's okay. It's like, I went through that too. And here's how to get out. And then you see hope in their eyes for the first time. And like, you made that happen. You caused that. And then that's a spark in their life that can change the entire trajectory of their life. That's the thing to get addicted to. Like, that's what we all want. And I think we're living in a world now where a lot of people find zero meaning in their work. They're driving to a job that they hate. And I'm just trying to ignite some passion in people.
I am not feeling so hot this morning. Don't know if it's just the lingering effects of the variant or what, but I'm just super low energy, a little nauseous, a little dizzy, but still getting my sun, still getting my walk, still gonna do my fast, and still make as much progress as we can. Some days you can do more than others. Just make sure on the days that are less than others that you're still getting something done, that you don't mail it in, that you don't give up, that you don't quit. What's the quote? Sometimes you can fly, sometimes you can take the car, sometimes you can run, sometimes you can crawl. Just keep moving forward. keep moving forward. When life gets hard, when you have every reason in the world to turn back, what do? You press forward.
Discipline is your missing ingredient. You've got the heart, you've got the care, you've got the desire to serve, you know you could be doing more, you want to do it for the right reasons, you're not just here to make money, you're here to have an impact and to grow and do amazing things. You know you can do amazing things. What's missing? Discipline. There's just a lack of follow through. It's the constant start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And for me, there's nothing more, not just frustrating, but sad than seeing somebody who's got so much talent and so much potential and so much of a heart, and just seeing them not win because they're not following through, because you're just not doing the consistent enough work, that you're motivated and inspired and then you're not anymore and nothing happens. And one of the only things that saved me, one of the only reasons why I'm here making these videos and you're watching, and I've had any success in social media, is because I just was disciplined, that I just kept making videos. One of the things I love sharing is my journey of YouTube, because I was not an overnight success story. Every month almost, I'll post to my socials of how I grew month over month, year over year on YouTube. And in the first 5 years, I had 7,000 subscribers or so. So 5 years in of making content, 7,000 subscribers. A lot of you are already ahead of that. A lot of you could get there a lot faster than me. How do you keep going when you're not getting traction? When in year one, you have 100 subscribers. I just had the discipline to keep making content, to keep following through. And 12,000 videos later, here we are. And people can get there faster. You don't have to be as slow as me. I took a long time, and I had a lot of issues. I was shy and insecure and introverted, and felt like you had to be, type A personality to win, and all of these limiting beliefs, all sorts of issues. And you can get there a lot faster than me, but it still requires a discipline to follow through and do it. And I really think it's one of the only things that saved me.
I use the Fitbit watch, and it tracks my sleep, and it gives me a score every day for how well I slept. And I've hit, I think, 89 out of 100 as my best sleep score. And what I would love to do is to improve my sleep score. One of the best things of having a wearable is you have something that you can track. So I want to find a way to consistently be in the 90s and have an excellent, amazing, world-class sleep. So on the first day that I was tracking that I did not use earplugs, I got an 88 sleep score, which is pretty good, already up there. When I moved to I don't have it anymore, I threw them away, but I had the kind of black, just ones I think I showed earlier in this video. Very standard, just kind of run-of-the-mill black earphone. They didn't do anything. I got an 80 sleep score, but they were barely in. It wasn't really pulling anything, any of the audio out. Then I went to the hardcore ones, and these ones are amazing. These are the ones that I wore at the Tony Robbins event, that I was right up against the speaker and it really pulled it out. So if you want a good earplug, whether for sleeping or not, the brand is called Heroes. Heroes, but with an A, so like Heroes. There's only one left in this pack. Extreme protection earplugs, 14 pairs, NRR33, I think that means something. These are amazing at knocking out the sound. So on the first day, I got an 84. So nothing, no earplugs was 88. Black earplugs, kind of standard earplugs, got an 80. These earplugs went up to 84, so we're going the right direction. On the first night. On the second night, though, it actually fell down to 73. What happened was I had this in, and when I was sleeping, it caught on the side and it jammed further into my ear, and it hurt and it woke me up, so I didn't have as good a sleep. And so I decided, I'm not going to wear it. I'm not going to wear it the next day, and I haven't gone back to it. So overall, I don't think earplugs are the solution for me. So I'm not going to ongoing be using these. I think the main reason is I don't mind ambient noises. If something broke or something fell or there's a loud noise, a crash or bang, I'm going to wake up. But overall, I kind of like the ambient noises. It's kind of like, a sleeping machine with the white noise, or I used to fall asleep listening to sports radio at night. I like having a little bit of noise going on. So the earplugs are not helping me improve my sleep quality. I don't think they're hurting, except when it jams into my ear and it causes a lot of pain. So I don't think it's hurting, but I don't think it's helping me.
The environment makes such a huge difference for who you are and your daily habits and what you believe about yourself. And the environment is not just the people who are around you, although that definitely helps. You know, if you've got negative friends or family around you, you want to eliminate them completely or spend a lot less time with them, because it's really, really, really hard to have a beautiful plant grow when it's just, you know, toxic waste being poured on top of them. Doable, but really, really, really difficult. And so changing that can really help. And one of the best ways I found to do it is content. It's content. It's why I make so much content for these channels, that hopefully you wake up today and there's a piece of content there waiting for you, whether it's me or showcasing somebody else. Across all my channels, we're making multiple pieces of content every single day to try to hit it in the right way. Maybe today's message with the right voice is the one that makes a difference for you. And if you can shift the amount of entertainment you're doing, or just shutting off the world, some of the content that you consume just helps you shut off the world and escape, versus educational content that helps you learn, improve, get better, and solve the problem, right? Entertainment is let's forget about the problem and just laugh at something else. Education is let's learn to actually fix the problem that is happening in our life, right? I want to lean in on that a lot more. It doesn't mean that entertainment doesn't exist in your life. It's not only education, but if you can shift the needle towards education, to be around the people who inspire you, even if you've never met them, it can really move the needle for your inner dialogue and your self-confidence.
I think comparison to other people is fantastic. I think most people just do it wrong. I think most people just do it wrong. You look at somebody else, you see their life, you see what they're doing, you see their business, you see their success, you see how old they are. Is one of the common questions people ask. Well, how old are you? Well, typically it's because they want to judge their own progress against yours. The comparison can be great, but you have to use it as a kick forward instead of a kick down. Most people will kick themselves down. They realize that you haven't done much. You realize that you're not where you want to be. You realize all these other people have done it with maybe less resources than you, at an earlier age than you, and you feel like it's over and you can't do it. That's a kick down. It's a comparison, it's a kick down, and that's what most people do. And that's why there's so much advice out there from people saying, don't compare yourself to others. Because when we do it, we typically kick ourselves down. That's the wrong way to do it. The comparison to other people comes from knowing what's possible and being inspired to want to go off and do it. You know, I just came back from a trip with my beach gang, and it's some big name people. It's Brendan Burchard and Mel Robbins and Lewis Howes and Jay Shetty, and you know, all these big people who've done big things. And we sit around the table and we share and we help, and it's our own mastermind. It's not a paid thing. It's where they go and we all share. And as they're talking, as they're sharing what they're up to and what they're working towards, I'm thinking that's what's possible. That's what I could do if I wanted to. That's how they're doing their marketing. Okay, if I could do this, and maybe they're 3 years ahead of me, but by learning their strategies, I can get there in 6 months. The comparison pushes you forward. Runners run faster when there's somebody next to them. Businesses innovate faster when there's competition. Comparing yourself to who you were yesterday is not enough of a push forward. That's the problem. Comparing yourself to who you were yesterday is great for self-love, but it's not enough of a push. So I'd encourage you to start thinking about an audit for yourself right now. If you're really low, if there's no self-love, if you don't feel like anything is possible, that's where you look back and you look at the progress. That's when you look back and say, where was I 5 years ago? Where was I 10 years ago? Look at how much you've grown and learned and improved, and how much in a better situation you are compared to where you used to be. Even if it's not financially, just mindset, just mentally, just the kind of person you are, how you treat people, you've probably grown. If you're watching this channel, it means you're into personal growth, self-development. So whether it's from my videos or somebody else's content, you've been learning and growing over the past 5 years. You've grown a lot. You're not the same person you used to be. You're a lot more proud of yourself than who you used to be. And whenever you're feeling low on yourself, that's when you look back and track the progress. That's when you look back and see who you used to be and how much you've grown and improved and gotten better. And that can start to fill you up again. But when you're ready for growth, when you're ready for ambition, when you're ready for the next level, I think the comparison is fantastic. I think to know that something is possible, it's the whole Roger Bannister 4-minute mile. Nobody thought it was possible. Then Roger Bannister did it, and now everybody's doing it. Not everybody, but a lot of people did it. Why? Because they were comparing themselves to him, because they know now that it's possible. And so when you see somebody else do it, when you see somebody else making amazing things, you don't have to default to say, I suck because they're doing it and I'm not. That's a kick down. You can choose to use it as inspiration to say, that's what's possible. And if she can do it, if he can do it, then so can I. And use that as the push to get you to the next level. At our beach gang last year, I got challenged a couple times. I got challenged by Brendan, I got challenged by Russell Brunson, I got challenged by a whole bunch of people. And I got challenged without people even talking to me sometimes, just by them sharing their story. I look at that and say, I want to do that. Not in the way that I suck and I can't do it, but no, in a year, I want to be there. In 2 years, I want to be there. In 5 years, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there. I look at young Les Brown, I think he's the greatest speaker of all time. I don't look at him and say, he's so much better than me. He's got this natural gift. I suck. I'm never going to do it. I look at him and I say, I want to be that good. That's what's possible. It's an inspiration to move forward. So, how do you make it tactical? There's a couple things that I think would be helpful for you. 1, look at some people who you respect, inside your industry or outside your industry. It's just something that you respect about them. Maybe it's me, maybe it's Jordan Peterson, maybe it's Oprah. Who are the people that you look up to and respect? What are the things, so 2, what are the things about them then that you want to get better at? If you respect somebody, it's because they're ahead of you at something that you want to be good at. Maybe it's in their business, maybe it's in their speaking, maybe it's in their relationships. They've done something or they're living a way that is ahead of you. So what is that thing? 2, what is that thing? What is the thing that they have that you are aspiring to get better at? There's no one person who is the ideal mentor. You don't want to be me. You don't want to be Jordan Peterson. You don't want to be Oprah. I have parts of my life that you don't want. The whole point is to take different pieces from different people to make the best you. For me, I want to be a visionary like Steve Jobs. That's why he's on my wall. And I want to be a father like my father was. That's why he's on my wall. I don't want to be a father like Steve Jobs was, and I don't want to be a visionary like my dad. Because they're not. So you're taking different people and different things from them to help you become the best you. So 1 is you're making a list of all the people that you look up to, that you respect, that there's something about them that you gravitate towards. 2, you find that specific thing. I want to have courage like this person. I want to have love like this person. I want to be a husband or a wife like this person, right? I want to be a mother or father like this person. That they're the ideal to shoot towards, that improve you, to make you want to strive to get better. And then 3, you dive into their story. You dive into their content. You dive into their videos, their books, their podcasts, their biographies. You dive into them on a consistent basis. Watching one video is not enough. It's a consistent basis to help you start to think like that. Somebody asked me yesterday, why do you read so many books at a time? I read 7 to 10 books at a time. I never really thought about why I do it. It just seemed to work for me. But as I dissect it, I love microdosing on books. I love microdosing on content. Because think about what happens when you read a book. So one of the books I'm reading right now is Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk. So when you're reading Jay Shetty's book, it forces you to start thinking like a monk. It forces you to have more presence and more gratitude and more mindfulness. And if you're going to read some hardcore, another book I'm reading is 75 Hard from Andy Frisella, which is in your face, hardcore, punching you in the stomach, yelling at you, let's go. two totally different vibes. I like both. I don't want to be Jay Shetty. I don't want to be Andy Frisella. But I like the mindfulness and present of Jay Shetty, and I like the aggressiveness and push of Andy Frisella. And in that combination is Evan Carmichael. So why I read 7 to 10 books at a time is because the microdosing of the books, when you're reading a book, if I only read Jay Shetty's book, I become very mindful, very grateful, very present. And then I put the book down and I pick up a different book. And then what you start to do is lose the train of thought. You lose the thing that you learned from Jay, unless you're picking up another Jay Shetty book. But he's only got one out right now. So instead of going hardcore and just reading one book, I like having Jay Shetty once a week. I like having Andy Frisella once a week. I like in the videos that I make to have different people. We have Jordan Peterson once a month, and Elon Musk once a month, and Oprah once a month. Because diving deep on one person can be great, but what happens on the ongoing? I'm much more concerned about the ongoing than I am about the what's happening intense at the moment. Because the ongoing is how you win. If you want to have success in anything, going to the gym and working out for 4 hours is not going to do much for you. But if you go to the gym every day for half an hour, you start to see results. So all of that, a bunch of stories in there, but the main concept is, I think comparison is fantastic. You just have to use it smartly. When you look at somebody else, understand that you don't want their entire life. You don't want their entire life, but there's something about them that they're better than you at, and use that as inspiration for you to get better instead of you telling yourself that you suck and you can't do it. Comparison will push you forward. Comparison will help you get the life that you want, as long as you're kicking yourself forward, not down.
If you want a guaranteed way to move into action, apply the 5-95 rule. Spend 5% of your time planning and 95% of your time doing. 5% planning, 95% doing. Most people are afraid to apply the 5-95 rule because you're afraid that you'll take the wrong action, that you'll make a mistake, that it won't be perfect. But here's what's gonna happen. While you are sitting there planning your perfect next move, someone with less talent, with less skills than you will win with a half-baked idea because they applied the 5-95 rule and just got started. And then don't think about it. Just go off and do it. Stop planning. That's the plan. The plan is done. Stop planning. Now do.
The reason why you're not following through is because you're doing it alone. When you wake up and you feel like you are by yourself, you are all alone, you have no community, you're not collaborating, you're not doing this with anybody else, it's just massively difficult to follow through. Still possible, absolutely. But this is the life of an entrepreneur. This is why so many great entrepreneurs don't follow through, and it breaks my heart because you've got talent, you've got a desire to serve and to help, and you know you have a story that matters, and you're just not as consistent as you know you could be. And it's not that you suck, it's just that you're doing it alone. This is something I've struggled with in terms of being a great resource for people, because I actually have a very low community need. I think the journey that I went through is almost impossible to model, because I just woke up every day and I still made videos and I still make content, and I did it by myself. And it's not prescriptive. It's really difficult to do it exactly the way that I did. Most people need more community than me. I still need it, but I have a really low, maybe it's just introverted or whatever, but I just don't need it as much as most people. You probably need more community. You probably are not following through because you feel isolated and alone. And the great promise of entrepreneurship is freedom, right? Like, you don't have to have a boss. You don't have to have employees that you hate or people on your team who you hate. You know, you get to pick everything you want. But then to go from having a job where you have community, even if you didn't enjoy the work you were doing, what you got from the job, if you've had one, is community. That you had coworkers, and you had some people who you did like, and you had people to go to lunch with, and you had just human connection every day, where as an entrepreneur you don't have that nearly as much or at all. And so it's very lonely, and it's really hard to do great work when you're lonely. So what's the solution? Like, okay, great. Yeah, you just tore my heart open, Evan. Now what do I do? How do I fix it? Well, first is just recognizing that is a problem. First is recognizing that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're amazing. The only problem is you just don't have anybody that you're collaborating with, that you're doing this by yourself. So the answer is we need to now go and find other people to collaborate with.
Is to get really clear on what the habit is that you want to develop. Don't pick 20 different habits that you would want to do all at once. This is where we struggle, because we take on way too much. Like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm rolling up my sleeves. It's time to change my life. I've had it. I've had enough. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to work out, and I'm going to eat well, and I'm going to make content. I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to find a girlfriend. I'm going to, like, whatever the thing is. You come with 20 different habits that you're going to do. And guess what? You do it tomorrow, maybe. And then it becomes too overwhelming, too much change all at once. Your life just takes over and you end up back down in the hole where you started. Has that happened? Have you tried to take on too much at once? What is the single most important habit that you need to start to build? That if you look back in a year, you could say, I'm so happy that I built this one habit because it's helping you accomplish your goals. What is the most important habit? It could be waking up at a certain time. It could be taking care of your mind. It could be taking care of your body. It could be putting in a certain amount of work on your business. It could be writing your book. It could be making 100 videos. Like, what is the one habit that you want to start to build, that if that one thing happened, your entire life starts to change? It's the cornerstone habit. That you start doing that, because I guarantee you, listen, if you start waking up at a certain time, or you start working out, you pick any of them. You start doing one of those things that you're proud of yourself for doing it. Other things start to change in your life around you. Because when you feel really proud of yourself, when you feel good about yourself, other things start to improve too.
That negative voice inside your head that's telling you that you suck and you can't do it, that's not your voice. That's not actually your voice. That's not you telling yourself that you suck. That voice was planted there. That voice was put there by somebody else in your life, and probably early on growing up, telling you that you can't do something. You were not born. You didn't come out of the womb and say, I suck. I can't do anything. No, you're playing, you're experimenting, you're finding joy, you're laughing, you're doing it. And then along the way, people tell you that you can't do it, that you should stop, that you should quit, that it's not going to work out, that you can't do it. And we've been so conditioned around that we take it on and we think it's our voice. When you come up with an idea, right? Just workshop this. You come up with an idea. It's like, oh, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna launch this business. I'm going to whatever. You come up with your bucket list, your dream life, your vision board. You come up with a list of ideas, things that you think that you want to do, things that you feel confident that you'd love to create for yourself, right? Okay. What happens the next day? The next day, it's not even telling our friends. You know, I think we blame our friends and say, well, we tell our friends and they're going to be negative and they crap on our idea, and so we don't do it. Well, before that happens, we crap on our own ideas, right? You look at that list the next day and say, I can't do that. Who was I yesterday? This crazy person that I used to be yesterday who thought I could do that. It's ourselves telling ourselves that we suck. But the problem is we've taken on that voice and we think that it's us. That's not your voice. That is not your voice telling you that you suck. That is somebody else's voice that was planted in your head, that has been conditioned to be there, that we're so used to being there that we have taken on as our voice. It has become your identity. But it was not your voice. It was put there. It was a seed that was planted that has been grown over time, and you need to rip that weed out. That is not your voice. You do not think that you suck. It's other people with low expectations who hate their own lives, who at some point went and tried something that did not work out for their life, and now nobody around them can have success because it makes them look and feel bad. And so they spend their time ripping other people down and apart. That's who planted that weed in your head. That might hit pretty hard. I hope it does. Because when that happens, if you can actually digest that, what ends up happening is you think, oh, whose voice is that? Whose voice is in my head? And that's great awareness, to know that it's not your voice, and then to identify whose voice it is. Who told you these things? Who made you feel this way growing up? And if you think about who that person is, if you can actually picture somebody, oh, that was Uncle Joe, or oh, that was my grade 3 teacher, oh, or that was my, the bully at school, whoever that person was. Now think about, okay, it's that person's voice, not you. That's already incredibly liberating. But then too, do you want to live that person's life? Like, think about that person. Probably they're not living a great life. They're not hitting their potential. They're not even happy with what they're doing. If somebody's spending their day tearing other people down, what kind of painful life does that person have to have when they go home? You don't want their life. If you don't want their life, then you definitely don't want their voice in your head anymore. Hopefully that creates an aha moment for you that starts to actually shift things, because we've been so conditioned to listen to that voice that we don't recognize that we actually have a choice to rip it out and start to listen to our own voice. So that's step 1. Step 2 then is, whatever you want more of in your life, you need to be surrounded by it more. You need to change the environment. Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you where you are. And if you're watching this video, I love you. Thank you for being here. You are probably the happiest, most optimistic, most positive, most caring, most pouring into other people that's in your environment. Like, if you think about you and your friends and your family, you're the most optimistic person in your family. You're the most positive person in your family. You're the most ambitious person in your family. You're the one who wants to care and serve the most in your family, right? But you're capable of way more, right? You can do way more than what you're doing right now. And so you end up being this big fish in a really tiny pond, where you're serving others and pouring into others, and you wish they could do more. And that's amazing. Don't stop caring for others, but you need more of a push yourself. You need to be around the people who are doing things that you want to do on a higher level. So the environment really matters, and your environment right now is good. It's not terrible. Maybe it is terrible, but it's not great. Most likely it's just good. And it keeps you stuck, and it keeps you in slow growth mode, and it prevents you from becoming the person that you actually want to be. So how do you start to shift that? Well, you shift your environment. And you may say, well, Evan, I don't know people who are super accomplished and are living the life that I want to live. I don't have any of those friends. If I did, I wouldn't be still stuck here. And I hear you. I get it. So the fastest way to do it isn't through actually trying to make those friends. It's through what I call aspirational mentors. It's by watching videos like this. You may never meet me. You may never meet Mel Robbins. You may never meet whoever your heroes are, but you can learn from it through these videos. Whoever you want more of, whoever you respect and maybe are even jealous of, that they can think that way and live that way, be around them more. Look at who you subscribe to on YouTube. Look at who you subscribe to and follow on Instagram. Look at the books you read and the podcasts you listen to and the shows that you watch. Are they from the people who make you feel better about yourself and give you hope, inspiration, and courage to go live your dream? And if not, then switch it out. Switch it out. If you are watching YouTube and you just found that you wasted the last 3 hours of your life, it's not YouTube's fault. It's your fault. You're subscribed and watching the wrong videos, because there's a lot of positivity out there. If you close a YouTube session, you feel worse about yourself, then you subscribe to the wrong channels. If you're watching this video and feel worse about yourself, 1, I sincerely apologize. And 2, you should unfollow me and go follow somebody that makes you feel more hopeful and alive. Because if you started your day with the thing that made you feel hopeful, alive, bold, confident, powerful, things are possible, your life will change. But we need that external stimulus. You are a product of your environment. You have to have those people around you. You can have Elon Musk and Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and whoever pushing you every day. You can have them pushing you every day by consuming their content. We just happen to be enslaved by the things that are around us that we haven't designed with intention. That's all. YouTube, the algorithm is so addictive. It's so addictive. You get one video that then takes you down another path and another path, and now all of a sudden you've just watched 3 hours of videos on something that doesn't make your life better and you don't actually really care about. You just got sucked into the drama of a certain storyline. Has that ever happened to you? Remember, I watched the Michael Jordan tribute, The Last Dance, and I went to research one of the storylines of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan to see kind of what the 2022 updated version was. And all of a sudden, I got down this rabbit hole of Scottie Pippen versus Michael Jordan, and 3 hours later, there's still other videos to watch. Like, what am I doing? This is a waste of time. I don't even care that much about these guys. I watched The Last Dance. It was a great documentary, and I learned from it, and I love the drive and tenacity and hustle, but I don't care about the drama between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And so we will easily default back into that comfort mode and back into consuming drama. You have to, with intention, try to bring that back. So here's a great homework assignment. Go look at your YouTube homepage and see what's being recommended to you. And how many of those videos, whether it's my channel or other channels, how many of the videos on your homepage right now will make you a better human, will make you feel more proud of yourself, will make you feeling hopeful, confident, courageous, ready to take some action on some of your goals? And how many of them are drama? How many of them are pure entertainment? How many of them will lead to some giant rabbit hole that you don't want to go down? If you actually set out your calendar and say, how do I want to spend my day with intention? How many of these videos would actually lead you towards that path? Right? And for too many people, it's not a pretty picture. We're listening to the wrong people. And so you can change that. You can change that. If we circle back, you recognize that the negative voice in your head is not your voice. It was planted there by somebody else who hates their life, and you don't want their life. Then you switch it to say, okay, well, whose life do I want? And ultimately, you want your best version of your life. But to get there, you're taking different pieces from different people's lives. Like, oh, I like how he does that, and she does that, and she does this. And you're pulling different people, different things from different people. And then you start to surround yourself with that. And the shift doesn't happen overnight. But if you're constantly pouring these people into you, if you're constantly pouring Evan Carmichael into you, you're going to start to believe more in yourself. And if you're constantly pouring other people into you, you're going to start thinking like them, behaving like them, taking on their mindsets and their beliefs. And if those are beliefs that you want and the mindset that you want, amazing. You get to choose now. You're in control. You've been a product of your environment, your early environment with negativity, your ongoing environment with probably just mediocrity keeping you where you are. And now you can change it. You can shift it. You can decide to be in a different spot 1 year from today. And the most important step you can do is to start choosing and carefully decide with intention who you want to be around, so that in 1 year from now, you are in a different spot, not just for you, but so you can serve others and lift them up to catch up as well.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome.
For 10 more amazing reels from Tom Bilyeu, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Once you decide to believe that you can learn anything, your life will change forever. Because most people believe their talent and intelligence are fixed traits, and that life's just about making the best of the hand that you were dealt. The amount that you can learn